Hi everyone, it's BlueTraX back. I'm back again at last. I'm trying to rebuild my layout here in my new apartment. So that's taking a while, but I wanted to go ahead and do this review because I have a few requests that are overdue, so I wanted to knock one out today. I have requests to do Plarail Henry as well as Edward and Gordon. So today we're going to review Plarail Gordon. I'm going to save the other two for later because I might get the new versions and compare the two. But just to move things along, let's go ahead and review Plarail Gordon 2014. So if you can see okay, the lighting's not the best, but if it comes to it, I'll just edit it on the computer. But today is Plarail Gordon, the updated version. I believe it was 2014 when this came out. Really took me by surprise. I had stopped collecting Trackmaster before I started college. So when I got back into it about 2.5 years in, all of a sudden they weren't selling the old Gordon or James anymore. So this was all that was left on eBay. So I ended up getting it no, I think I meant to get this one. When I got Plarail James, I thought I was getting the old one, but I ended up getting the new one instead. Anyways, let's look into this one. I'll go and give my overall opinions on the model. I do think it is very nice. I am as nostalgic as the next guy, so I was kind of sad to see the old model go, but for an update, I do think that they did a really solid job on Gordon's model. It looks good from a proportional standpoint. The tender is the same case, they just changed the number font a little bit to reflect the show better, which I think is nice. The length of Gordon, as you can see here, is pretty good. I think it's a little bit longer. They lengthened his cab a little bit, which I think is good. It doesn't look like the old one, but these changes I think were for the better. I do like the artificial wheel additions. Whoops. There we go. I do like the updated wheel arrangement on here. I kind of wish that they had left the old piston rod on there, just because I like the way it sort of functioned like a real train. It wasn't just, you know, this kind, I don't know how to explain it, where it's just normal. But I do like that they at least put a little extra effort into it, so it looks a little bit like it's articulated. So I can appreciate it for sure. What's going on? But yeah, so it's different. It's not the classic Gordon, but it's still very nicely done. I do like that they at least kept the original coach and didn't shorten it or cheapen it like Trackmaster 2 tends to do when they update things. But yeah, overall, very solid model. I think the face is very nice. Drawbacks. There aren't many, but one would be the cab windows are no longer present, and that's something I really don't like with many of the newer models. I mean, I get it, but it was such a small detail. It was small, but it made a big difference. It feels more toyish with it not there. Also, they didn't color in the windows on the side. They were blue. I literally just Sharpied them in myself, and it looks way better. I think the original had like an open cab, so at least it looked darker. It wasn't just straight blue. But yeah, those are the only two main things. I do understand why they updated these, mainly so there wasn't wiring going from the tender where the battery was stored. I respect that. Honestly, it's a better move because I went through 3 Edwards growing up, and they all died because the wiring in between was weak. I also had the original Tommy Gordon. It was the second engine I ever got, and it finally suffered just age. It was 10 years old when it finally stopped working, but towards the end it was also like inconsistent with running because the power wasn't transferring. So I do think that it's good to kind of move all the parts up to the front or to the back. I've heard arguments to move the chassis to the tender, and I think in Edwards' case that would have been beneficial. But it can work this way too. Like, Gordon's not super fat, his boiler's shaped normally, there's nothing odd about it, so it can work, definitely. So if they were going to update Gordon, I do think this was a very good way to do it. So I am pleased with the Plarail Gordon model of 2014. Can recommend. It runs well. It's not, I don't know how it compares speed-wise. I think all the newer ones are a little bit slower than old Tommy, but I mean, they don't need to be rocketing around. So I'd say overall I give this model a 8 out of 10. And that would just be because they kind of dropped some the window enhancements, but otherwise it looks really good. So yeah, that's my review of Plarail Gordon.